In January 2024 on this channel, we reported several times that Leeds United had expressed interest in a certain midfielder who got us very, very excited on the channel, a midfielder who would create for Leeds United, a midfielder who would be very expressive for Leeds United, a midfielder who would be innovative. Someone who really got you off the edge of your seat, people. And this was amidst Leeds United having Jorginho Rutter, Crysencio Somerville, among some of the best players in the Championship. We had a lot at that period of time. But Leeds United confirmed later on were interested in a little diminutive genius, Fabio Carvalho. Leeds, Hull City and Southampton were all in the race to sign the very, very in-demand, at the time, Liverpool player. Unfortunately for Leeds United, it didn't come to fruition. Why? As we see so many times with football nowadays, it was because Leeds were not able to offer him minutes. Obviously, Jorginho Rutter was in that position. We had Crysencio Somerville. That was our build-up. That was our creative expression. Those two. So Leeds United missed out on Fabio Carvalho, who then didn't sign for Southampton. He then went to sign for Hull City that season with Jadon Philogene, who was also on loan that season as well from West Ham United, who went on in the attacking third to really cause demolition jobs to some teams at Championship level. Now, why are you talking about this, Connor? Well, quite interesting news today, everybody, when it comes to the rumour mill. Once again, Carvalho was left out of proceedings for Brentford in their recent game, which then, interestingly enough, because this has happened with Richard Cresswell, with us and Charlie, it never sort of finds itself, in a good vein when this sort of stuff happens. But his manager, who is, I believe it's a family member, or his agent is a family member, went online on Brentford's post to say, Fabio, leave this club. Obviously, Fabio Carvalho has moved to Brentford, and the succession plan, that his career was really, really interesting because Liverpool's primary concern was him getting minutes. And there's a lot of irony right now because he's moved to Brentford and he's barely getting any minutes. But his dad posted this on the official Brentford post on Instagram. Now, why is this significant for Leeds United? Well, it's massively significant for Leeds United because the succession of events, Angus Kinnear, the club's CEO, said that Leeds United were interested and were almost actively pursuing Fabio Carvalho, but they couldn't convince Liverpool at the time that he was going to get minutes under Daniel Farke. Jorginho Rutter was playing. We were in a very, very sort of, I felt, scripted pattern when it came to our attacking quartet. You knew Rutter was going to start. You knew Crysencio Somerville was going to start. And I mean, they absolutely had to. They were the best players in the division. But now this throws up such an interesting conversation. If Brentford allow maybe Fabio Carvalho to leave on loan, if Brentford decide in the January window that, look, this guy's not getting any minutes here, he's struggling, we need to sort of at least get him some game time. We were speaking a little bit earlier on about Evan Ferguson and that being slightly unlikely. Fabio Carvalho's trajectory has been very interesting. Fulham, where he was exemplary, went to Liverpool and then was loaned out to Hull City. Obviously, previously Leipzig as well. But Hull City, my opinion right now is this one would be very, very gettable if Brentford were interested in actually having a conversation with Leeds United, who right now, with Jorginho Rutter not being at the club, you look at that central attacking midfield space where I think we have to invest. And by goodness, everybody, there is a space there for a creative and innovative sort of small. You always, I feel with central attacking midfielders, the best of them are always small, always diminutive. And I feel like Jorginho Rutter wasn't really a central attacking midfielder, was he? You've seen at Brighton when he's been playing up front, when he's been playing on the left as well. Partnering Danny Welbeck up top. They've sort of created different positions for Rutter. And did I feel he was an out-and-out number 10? I didn't. But you do see the number 10s nowadays sort of following a very similar pattern. Buendia, Pablo Hernandez, Elias Scher, small, diminutive characters. That is exactly what Fabio Carvalho is. Now, obviously, he scored at Ellen Road last season, but he was excellent for Hull. Absolutely excellent. And for me, it's a massive waste just having him on the bench for Brentford and them not utilising him. So don't get me wrong, it's depth off the bench. We were speaking earlier on about maybe Brentford going in for Evan Ferguson as a striker with only Visser and Mbuemo up top. If they were to move for Evan Ferguson, of which they are very, very likely to do, in my opinion, maybe amongst, the likes of Crystal Palace and Fulham in particular, that could really open the door for Leeds United to go and get Carvalho another attacking presence. But his dad, Carvalho's dad, is commenting on a Brentford post saying, son, you need to leave this club. So the dad is not happy. The dad is going to be, he could be his agent. He could be very close to his agent. Normally nowadays, we've seen with Haaland and other football players that the top players, and Mbappe, another one, a lot of the top players are managed by family members. Rabiot being another big name. Carvalho's dad commenting on a post which was deleted then saying, son, you need to leave this club. Listen, it could be ironed out. There's no way Leeds are going to essentially commit to the salary that Brentford are going to want and obviously the transfer fee. That's not going to happen. But a loan to an obligation to buy with Leeds getting into the Premier League, that will be a very, very good move for Carvalho. If he proves himself, he will be beloved at Leeds United. And then we'd be able to get him on an obligation or an option or first in line if Leeds United were to get to the Premier League. I feel that is a brilliant move for Leeds. Carvalho has proven it on the continent. He, forced almost Liverpool's hand with how good he was at Fulham. There was a massive clubs looking at him when he came back from Leipzig to Liverpool. I think that this is a brilliant move. We forget that Angus Kinnear said and expressed that Leeds United were after him, but we couldn't guarantee him game time. And he expressed this, I believe he spoke about it on the Square Ball as well, about how Leeds were not just able to offer him that game time at that moment. But right now, we don't have Jorginho Rutter. So if you don't have Jorginho Rutter and you don't have that talent in your side, you've got Brendan Harrison with the greatest of respect. That's an open goal. If he is put up for loan, or if Leeds test the waters there, because we know that shortlist is always going to be that shortlist. If Leeds are interested in a player, Leeds are always going to be interested in that player. We learned that under Bielsa with Dan James. It feels like he's very consistent now still. If he's on the shortlist, if he's available in January, Evan Ferguson seemed very, very unlikely for me because of the top clubs that are going to be in for him. Carvalho's stock will have reduced being at Brentford on the bench in the Premier League. If you're not getting minutes for Brentford, who aren't great going forward and have really struggled in terms of just numbers up top, would that, since Tony left, would that stop him coming to Leeds United? He's sort of in direct competition with Damsgaard. Is he going to get in front of Damsgaard? I'm not 100% sure. Carvalho to Leeds United in January, people, would you welcome it? Really, really interesting. But his dad saying, son, you need to leave this club. Leeds, big, big open goal there. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll catch you tonight.